Hi, Harry Dent here. I want to give an important insight. In 1989, 1 year after I discovered the spending wave, the correlation 46-year lag on the birth index with booms and busts in generational spending in the economy and stocks, I could see something nobody else could see with one simple indicator looking around the world. My prediction there in Our Power to Predict, my first self-published book, was that in the 1990s, Japan was going to have a 12 to 14-year downturn, their greatest downturn in their history, and at the same time, the rest of the developed countries, the United States, North America, Europe, Australia, were going to have their greatest boom in history, or at least since the Roaring '20s. Nobody saw that coming at that time. Simple demographics. I was looking at Japan's spending wave and seeing it was going to fall off its first cliff and then after a brief bounce off a second cliff to come over that time period. That Japan's demographics were going to go off the cliff. That's the name of the new book, The Demographic Cliff. When a major baby boom peaks and then slows down, now you get a bigger boom and you get a bigger bust because of the size of this generation. But what is also unique and has never happened in modern history is that the next generation, the echo boom, in most countries is either smaller than the baby boom or near non-existent or non-existent. There is no younger generation to generate the next boom. So what I'm looking at now, out of many countries, but the singular country that I think is going to be a huge surprise in the coming years and decades, Germany. Germany is going off a cliff even steeper and more directly down than Japan in the 1990s. Germany is the stalwart of Europe. Germany has the most competitive exports, and it's held up because of their exports. Their demographics are already been slowing. So Germany is going to take a major fall, and that's not to count the fact that I think the whole rest of the world's going down anyway because of debt and demographics and bubbles bursting and things like that. But even without that, Germany would be slowing more dramatically. It's going to be the second fastest aging country overall after Japan, and in the next decade, it will be the fastest aging country from here. So Germany's going to be the surprise. There's other countries like Austria and UK that go off this same cliff, not quite as steep, but near term. And then down the road, all the European countries do to some degree or not. But to summarize overall, and I'm going to cover this more in the April boom and bust issue of the newsletter. There's three groups of developed countries. There's the gainers, 6 countries from Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, 6 countries that actually have an echo boom due to immigration that is larger, not tons larger except for Australia, but larger than the baby boom after some dip. And Australia is the only country that doesn't even have a dip in demographics for a baby bust. Then there's the sustainers, I call them. The countries that have a baby bust but then have a substantial echo boom that comes back up near the highs, and then their trends go more sideways for decades. That is the US, Canada, UK, and France are the biggest examples of that. But almost everybody else, many, many more countries, the great majority, are decliners. That is all of Southern Europe, Greece, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Germany, Austria, all of East Europe, Russia, East Asia, Japan, especially after 2020, South Korea after 2018, Singapore, Taiwan, and China. China's already seeing workforce slowing a little bit. 10 years from now, it's going to slow a lot more. Most countries in the developed world, and I'm not counting China in that because they're not a developed country, but most countries in the developed world are going to be one of those 3 categories, but the majority are decliners, literally slowing workforce growth, slowing population. How do you grow in that environment? I think there's going to be a big battle for immigration after this downturn in the next 6 to 10 years. And the English-speaking countries are going to have the advantage in that because everybody wants their kids to learn English, and those countries tend to have a history of high immigration. But there's going to be a big difference in countries. The developed world is going to go more sideways with really only productivity and technology progress driving growth, and most of the world is going to slow down. And the countries that are gainers are small countries and don't add up to that much. So whole new world coming from demographics. And again, I'm going to cover this more in the April issue of Boom and Bust.